just that number 3 seed. Manhattan is right there. So after even today, bigger picture, lots of opportunity for them to continue to climb the table.
Yeah, 3 of their 4 conference losses so far this season are to Fairfield and Quinnipiac. And after today's game against the Bobcats, no more games against the top 2 for the Jaspers as we take a look at what's going on around the MAC on this freezing Saturday afternoon. The Merrimack Warriors on the road, a tough place to play at Mount St. Mary's. They're looking to close out a victory down in Emmitsburg. That's a pretty impressive number for the Warriors. Molly Mannion with 27 points on the road in that contest. Marist Iona over on SNY. That's a pretty close ball game and a pretty crucial one as well. Those teams separated by just 1 game in the standings.
And that's the exciting part about this stretch of the season. Every game even more crucial towards standings. As you mentioned, those are 2 games with teams that are fighting each other for a spot on the table and just so down to the wire. I am glad a number of teams are able to get their games in today, especially with the pending storm, because you hate to see games get moved, canceled, and just change up this already hectic, very cluttered schedule.
Sacred Heart and Fairfield looking to take care of business in Western New York. The hourglass game between Ryder and St. Peter's. The New Jersey rivalry is a pretty close one as expected. It's a 12-point lead for Quinnipiac, looking strong through the first 20 minutes. We'll come back with more on the first half here on ESPN+. Bobcats up by 12 as they look for an 11th consecutive win here at the half at Draddy Gymnasium. Great to have you with us once again on ESPN+. Jason Garrett with Renee Washington, and everybody likes to get started quickly on the road. It's very tough to win on the road no matter where you play in this conference, and Quinnipiac got out to a 9-0 lead. The rest of the half was pretty even, but it was that outstanding start for the Bobcats. Biggest reason why they're up by 12 right now.
And that's the key. It took Manhattan some time to settle in. We talked about having 4 days of rest, where for Quinnipiac, coming off of playing just a couple of days ago, they continued right where they left off against Mount St. Mary's and came out playing aggressive, playing quick, playing a little bit better in terms of anticipating as well. And that's what helped them take that early lead and then protect it.
Well, when we talk about the Bobcats offensively, the name of the game is balance, and you look at the stat sheet right now, 7 different players found the scoring column. 4 of those had between 5 and 10 points. So one of the keys for the Quinnipiac coaching staff today was to be themselves, and so far by the numbers, they are being themselves.
And they talk about it's not on just one player to score for them. The first quarter, it was the 10 points that we saw from Ella O'Donnell. The second quarter, it was Anna Foley's 8 points. Different players stepping up in ways when necessary to help them lead. And so that's that by committee Quinnipiac mindset they have, that it's very team first. It's all about everybody finding ways to chip in, and that's also on the defensive end we've seen as well.
They were able to do that against a Manhattan team that really switched up the defenses. They played more zone in that first half than we've seen them. And on the other side for Manhattan, 17 big points from Brianna Davis and Colette Mulderry kept them in this ball game, but it was the turnover problems that we talked about before really reared their ugly heads in that first half. 9 Jasper turnovers, leading directly to 16 Quinnipiac points. They lead the points off turnover stat 16-0 right now.
And that's something that you have to give credit to Manhattan for playing well defensively. I thought they did a good job of mixing it up. We saw them throw the zone, we saw them throw man-to-man, and just kind of keep Quinnipiac's offense on their toes to get stops, forcing travels, forcing turnovers. But then you have to score on the other end. You cannot trade baskets with any team, especially Quinnipiac. After that 9-0 deficit you started by, if you're going to chip away at this gap, you have to get stops, and those stops have to turn into points on the other end.
Well, when it comes to Quinnipiac, they had a first half that was really by the book for them. So if you're Heather Voulin right now in the locker room for Manhattan, what are you telling your team to try and get them back into this ballgame?
I think the key for Manhattan is, if it weren't for that 9-0 start, they were right in the game. So let's bring that same intensity. They had some ups and downs, which are natural, but make sure you're maximizing on those ups. When you have the momentum, when you have the runs going, keep scoring, keep your pedal on the gas, and make sure you're not having any letdowns. So that's minimizing turnovers, good quality shots, as we've talked about, but also just playing with confidence. You are right in this game. Believe that and play that way as well.
It's a 12-point lead as it stands for Quinnipiac as we get set for the start of the second half at Draddy Gymnasium. Hope you're staying warm with us on ESPN+. Almost ready for the start of the second half in the Bronx. Quinnipiac up by 12. Jason Garrett with Renee Washington back with you for all the action. In the first 20 minutes, it felt like old school basketball. A lot of post touches, a lot of post finishes, including a couple by Christina Juric and Ella O'Donnell, who scored all 10 of her first half points in the first quarter to get the Bobcats started. Jaspers were able to do what they do best, and that's get the ball right at the rim. Colette Mulderig had 8 points in that first half, but again, it was the turnovers that led to Quinnipiac baskets in transition. That one by Jackie Grisdale that were the biggest difference in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's been 34 points in the paint between the two teams. They're doing a good job attacking the basket. You see there, Foley, you talk about that play that we're seeing in the low post. Foley been doing a good job, and so has Mulderig on the other side. Both teams continuing to feed their bigs, and that's been helping them out tremendously, getting on the scoreboard.
First half stats are presented by the Northeast Beef Promotion Initiative. The high field goal percentage, 55% shooting for Quinnipiac overall. They only knocked down 2 of 10 from 3. So if you take those away, they were 14 of 19 inside the three-point line. That's well over 70%. And the 9 turnovers again led to a 16-0 edge for the Bobcats in points off turnovers. Something that Heather Vulan no doubt was talking to her team about in the locker room.